Good afternoon. Today I am going to start a new page number 29 from a political science, that is civics book. Rule of law and respect for rights. Zimbabwe, another country. For example, it's given how the were ruling. Zimbabwe attained independence from the white minority. It got independence as the white minority was ruling in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU PF. You have read in China as whatever the Communist Party was there. Now in Zimbabwe also, ZANU PF was there. The party was very strong. The party that led the freedom struggle. Its leader Robert Mugabe, the leader of ZANU PF was Robert Mugabe, has been ruling the country since independence. Independence till he ruled. Elections have been held regularly and always won by ZANU PF. As you have read before also, some of the country, the parties were there like Communist Party and all other party. Same as election have been held regularly and always won by ZANU PF in Zimbabwe. ZANU PF was one of the strong party. President Mugabe, ZANU PF leader, was President Mugabe. He's popular but also uses unfair practices in the election. He was popular but he had started with the election with the unfair things. Over the years, his government has changed the constitution several times to increase the powers of the president and make him less accountable. So that time the government was there and government has he changed the constitution, not the government, but he had increased the power as a president. Opposition party workers are harassed. That time opposition party was harassed, whichever the party was there, and their meeting also disrupted, cancelled. Public protest and demonstration against the government are declared illegal. Everything it was illegal. There is a law that limits the right to criticize the president. Television and radio were also controlled by the government and give only the ruling party's version. So here it is written in Zimbabwe, ZANU PF was a very strong party. Then here it's written there are independent newspaper also, but the government harasses those journalists who go against it. That means ZANU PF was one of the powerful, strong party. The government has ignored some court judgments that went against it and had pressurized judges. Now the example of Zimbabwe shows that popular approval of the rulers in necessary in a democracy, but it is not sufficient. Popular governments can be undemocratic. If there was a popular government, whatever ZANU PF, it was under the undemocratic. Popular leaders can be autocratic, a ruling leader, but not in a nice way. If we autocratic meaning a ruler who is ruling but not in a nice way. Popular leaders can be autocratic. If we wish to assess a democracy, it is important to look at elections, but it is equally important to look before and after the election. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period before election. So that time there was a strong power by the ZANU PF and President Mugabe was there, who never liked the present government, but he only started with his ruling. This he started with the unfair things, those. This requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. They should be free to think, to have opinions, to express these in public, to form an association, to protest and take other political actions. Everyone should be equal in the eyes of law. So that time there was a equality. These rights must be protected by an independent judiciary whose orders are obeyed by everyone. We shall read more about in these rights in chapter number 6, where the rights were given. Similarly, there are some conditions that apply to the way of the government is run after the elections. A democratic government cannot do whatever it likes simply because it has won an election. It has to respect some basic rules. In particular, it has to respect some guarantees to the minorities. Every you have read just now that democracy, it doesn't mean that whatever it likes to it is not obeyed. Every major decision has to go through a series of consultation. Now every office bearer has certain rights. As you know, office bearers are who? They were having a certain rights and responsibilities assigned by the constitution and the law. Each of these is accountable not only to the people but also to other independent officials. We shall read more than about this in chapter number 5. Both these aspects give us the fourth and final feature of the democracy. A democratic government rules. A democratic government rules within limits set by the constitution, law and citizen rights. So here it's given another feature that democratic government rules within a limits what the constitutional law is there and the citizen right. Now summary definition, what is about this democracy? Let us sum up the discussion so far. We started with the simple definition. You have read that democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. We found that this definition was not adequate unless we explain some of the key words used in it. Through a series of examples, we worked out 4 features of the democracy as a form of government. So here it is given the 4 feature about the democracy. First, rulers elected by the people. Rulers elected by the people take all the major decisions. Whoever the rulers are appointed by the citizen, by the people, they all are having the major decision. Election offers choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current rulers. Now election, why it is held? It can change the rulers one after one by taking the election. Now this choice and opportunity is available to all the people on an equal basis. Now there is a full freedom, equality among all the citizens who can start electing the leaders. The exercise of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizens' rights. So in a democracy, citizen rights are there which have to be followed. Now why democracy? The question is why democracy? An argument broke out in Madame Lindox. In the first page you have read how there was a conversation between a teacher and a student. She had Madame Lindox Clark. Now she had finished teaching the previous section on what is democracy and asked the students if they thought democracy was the best form of government. Everyone had something to say. Now this is the debating merits of a democracy is given. The narration you will read it once from page number 31. Now Madame Lindox, a teacher, was listening to this discussion with the interest. Now she stepped in. I was delighted to see you all arguing so passionately. The students were all arguing about the democracy. So here it's written, I don't know who is right and who is wrong, the teacher says. That is for you to settle. But I did feel that you will wanted to speak your mind. You may have felt very bad if someone tried to stop you or if someone punished you for saying what you felt. Would you be able to do that in a country that is not democratic? Is that a good argument for democracy? So here it's written how the argument was going between the student and the teacher. Now here you will read arguments against the democracy. There was a big argument against, not in favor, against, not in favor democracy. So this conversation has most of the arguments that we routinely hear against democracy. Let us go over some of these arguments now. Which were the arguments in that class was leaders keep on changing in a democracy. You know in our country also how the leaders are changing in a democratic country. This leads to instability. Democracy is all about the political competition and power play. Now this democracy held an election every time. It is one of the competition and power play. There is no scope for morality. Now third feature against the democracy is so many people have to be consulted in a democracy that it leads to delays. Then fourth feature is given, elected leaders do not know the best interests of the people. What the people want, they don't know about it. It leads to a bad decision. Then fifth is given here, democracy leads to corruption, for it's based on electoral competition. Here it leads to a corruption also sometimes, and it based on election competition. Ordinary people do not know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. So ordinary people, they don't know, they must not argue about what is going and what should be to decide anything. Are there some other arguments against the democracy that you can think of? Which of these arguments applies mainly to democracy? Which of these can apply to misuse of any form of government? Which of these do you agree with? Now the last, it's given, last paragraph. Clearly, democracy is not a magical solution for all the problems. It is not that it can solve all the problem. It has not ended poverty. In our country, still there is a poverty, and in other parts of the world. Democracy as a form of government only ensures that people take their own decision. Here it is given a freedom in a democracy that it takes a full it takes a decision also. This does not guarantee that their decision will be good. People can make mistakes also. In this, here in democracy, the people can make a mistake also. Involving the people in these decisions does lead to a delays in decision making. It also true that democracy leads to frequent changes in the leadership. As in our country, there the elections are held, not only one leader is ruling, but it is an option that one by one after one, the ruling leadership can change. Sometimes this can set back big decision and affect the government's efficiency. These arguments show that democracy of the kind we see may not be ideal form of government, but that is not a question we face in real life. The real question we face in different, is democracy better than other forms of government that are there for us to choose from? Now this was all about the argument against, not in favor. Against means not in favor of the democracy. Now next I will start tomorrow with our arguments for democracy.